Good evening. Tonight, we're diving into Iran's nuclear ambitions, a topic that's kept diplomats and analysts awake for decades. When you hear Iran and nuclear together, it's easy to imagine action movie cliches, but the reality is far more complex. The real question isn't just Iran will get a bomb, but they'd want one at all. Understanding these motivations is crucial for anyone who wants to grasp the dynamics of one of the world's most volatile regions. So, let's unpack 7 key reasons why Iran might see nuclear weapons not as aggression, but as a rational, if terrifying, choice. Settle in, and let's illuminate the logic behind one of the world's highest-stakes gambles. Let's start with the most obvious reason: deterrence. Iran faces powerful adversaries, namely the United States and Israel, who have a history of military intervention in the region. From Tehran's perspective, the U.S. has toppled regimes in neighboring Iraq and Afghanistan, and all options are on the table, has been a constant refrain. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. When a superpower singles you out and has a track record of regime change, you look for the ultimate security system, a nuclear weapon. Nukes fundamentally change the cost-benefit analysis for any would-be attacker. A nuclear-armed Iran would force even the most hawkish generals to think twice. The logic is simple. A nuclear weapon elevates Iran from a target to a problem that must be managed. Military intervention becomes a potentially suicidal option. Look at North Korea, isolated, poor, but untouchable because of its nukes. For Iran, it's not just about deterring the U.S. It's also about Israel, which is widely believed to have its own nuclear arsenal. A nuclear Iran would make any preemptive Israeli strike a far riskier gamble. This creates a mutually assured destruction-light scenario in the region. The message: you may defeat us, but you'll pay a price too high to bear. Iran's leaders see nuclear weapons as the only insurance policy that can truly protect them from superpowers. It's about survival, not starting a war. That's why, despite immense pressure, Iran keeps pushing forward. They want to avoid the fate of Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi, leaders who gave up their WMD programs and lost everything. For Tehran, a nuclear deterrent is terrifyingly logical. It's the ultimate do-not-touch sign. Now, let's talk about power. Iran wants more than just survival. It wants influence. The Middle East is a high-stakes chessboard, and a nuclear weapon is the ultimate piece. Iran already projects power through its military and regional proxies, but a nuclear capability would amplify its influence exponentially. With nukes, Iran's demands carry the implicit threat of escalation, forcing rivals to listen. This would embolden Iran's actions in places like Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, knowing adversaries would hesitate to confront them directly. A nuclear umbrella would allow Iran to act with greater impunity, challenging regional rivals and even the U.S. Navy in the Persian Gulf. It's not just about projecting power outward, it's about solidifying Iran's status as a modern, technologically advanced nation. A nuclear weapon is a ticket to the exclusive club of global powers. The psychological impact on the region would be immense, potentially sparking a dangerous arms race. For Iran, this is about shifting from defense to assertive leadership. Achieving regional hegemony would be a monumental victory, and a nuclear weapon is the most direct path. It's about moving from the defensive crouch to an assertive stride. In a region defined by rivalry, a nuclear Iran would force everyone to recalculate. The stakes would rise for every player. That's the power of the bomb. Let's address the regional imbalance. Israel's policy of nuclear ambiguity is an open secret, and Iran operates under the assumption that Israel has a sophisticated arsenal. This creates a massive strategic imbalance. Iran's main adversary holds the ultimate trump card. In any conflict, Israel can escalate to a level Iran can't match. For Iran, this is an untenable position. A nuclear weapon would level the playing field, introducing mutual vulnerability. This is classic Cold War logic. When both sides have the bomb, a fragile stability emerges. Iran's goal isn't to use nukes offensively, but to negate Israel's ability to coerce or intimidate. Achieving nuclear parity would force caution and restraint on both sides. It would also shatter Israel's long-standing doctrine of being the region's sole nuclear power. For Iran, that's a victory in itself. This shift would ripple through Sunni Shia and Arab-Persian rivalries, potentially triggering a regional arms race. Iranian officials' rhetoric about Israel's arsenal reflects a core strategic concern, not just propaganda. For Tehran, a nuclear weapon is a rebalancing weight on the scales of Middle Eastern power. It's their answer to Dimona. At the heart of it all is regime survival. For Iran's leaders, nothing matters more than staying in power. They've studied recent history. Saddam Hussein gave up his WMDs and was toppled. Gaddafi dismantled his nuclear program and was overthrown. The lesson? Giving up nukes doesn't buy security, it makes you a target. Contrast that with North Korea, isolated, impoverished, but the regime endures because of its nuclear arsenal. The message is clear: a deliverable nuclear weapon makes you untouchable. It's not just about deterring invasion, but also about deterring covert operations, cyber attacks, and support for opposition groups. A nuclear arsenal creates a protective buffer around the regime. For hardliners, the nuclear program is non-negotiable. It's the fundamental guarantor of their power. The 2015 nuclear deal, JCPOA, was seen by some as a dangerous concession. The U.S. withdrawal in 2018 only reinforced the belief that the West can't be trusted. Many in Tehran now see a nuclear weapon, or at least the capability, as the only rational path to secure their future. This is about existential fear, a regime that feels besieged and surrounded by cautionary tales. For them, a nuclear bomb is about self-preservation, not projection of power. It's the ultimate guarantee that the Islamic Republic's story won't end like Iraq or Libya. That's the never again doctrine. Now let's talk about national pride. For many Iranians, the nuclear program is a symbol of identity, achievement, and defiance. The government frames it as proof that Iran is a modern, scientifically advanced nation, an heir to the Persian Empire. Mastering nuclear technology is seen as a crowning achievement, akin to a moon landing. This narrative instills pride and unity, especially when times are tough. Even critics of the government often support the nuclear program as a matter of sovereignty and dignity. The idea that nuclear-armed countries deny Iran the same right is seen as hypocritical and insulting. The program is woven into modern Iranian identity, transcending political factions. For many, it's about resilience, independence, and demanding respect on the world stage. The pursuit of nuclear capability is also a pursuit of dignity. Let's talk leverage. Iran's nuclear program is a powerful bargaining chip to secure economic and strategic interests. Decades of sanctions have crippled Iran's economy, and the nuclear program is their main lever to get relief. By advancing the program, Iran creates a crisis that forces the world to the negotiating table. This is how the 2015 nuclear deal came about. Iran traded nuclear limits for sanctions relief. When the U.S. withdrew and reimposed sanctions, Iran rebuilt its bargaining chip by ramping up enrichment. The message: if you want us to stop, lift the sanctions. The nuclear program becomes an economic pressure valve. Iran can ramp up or scale back activities to force engagement. Near-nuclear status can also be used to extract security guarantees or recognition of regional influence. It's a dangerous game, but for a regime under pressure, it's the most powerful card left to play. The world can't ignore Iran when the stakes are this high. That's the art of nuclear negotiation. Finally, nuclear weapons deter not just nuclear attacks, but also large-scale conventional wars. Iran faces conventionally superior adversaries like the US, whose military could devastate Iran without using nukes. A nuclear deterrent changes the equation, introducing existential risk into any conflict. Even a small arsenal creates uncertainty. Would Iran use a nuke if its regime were collapsing? This threat that leaves something to chance makes any invasion plan far riskier. Nuclear-armed states hold escalation dominance, deterring even conventional attacks. This security allows Iran to focus on other goals, like projecting regional influence. Iran doesn't fear a nuclear first strike, it fears a repeat of Iraq 2003. A nuclear weapon is the ultimate insurance policy against that scenario. It raises the entry fee for conflict to an unacceptable level. For Tehran, it's the ultimate guarantee of sovereignty. So there you have it, 7 interlocking reasons behind Iran's nuclear ambitions. It's not about chaos, but a complex calculation: deterrence, regional power, strategic balance, regime survival, national pride, economic leverage, and conventional deterrence. Each reason weaves into a logic rooted in fear, ambition, and history. Understanding this web is essential, not to condone, but to move beyond simplistic narratives. The path forward requires nuanced diplomacy, not just threats. This is one of the most critical issues of our time. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.